History does not pity the fool who chooses the wrong woman. That is the unspoken law every man eventually learns, but most learn it when it's already too late, standing over the grave of their own potential, wondering how the hell they let there. Kingdom fall without firing a single shot, you see. The world will never warn you. Your mother won't. Your friends can't. And society? Society profits from your blindness. But Machiavelli knew. He knew that behind every destroyed man was not fate, not bad luck, not tragedy, but the wrong woman he foolishly let inside his life. And while the masses sell you dreams of loyalty, love, and happily ever after, Machiavelli whispers the truth. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to survive. And what I'm about to tell you, no one else will dare. Say aloud, there are only two types of women in this world: beneficial and destructive. That's it. No shades. No maybe. No gray area. You are either upgrading your life by choosing her, or you are slowly killing yourself by letting her stay. And here's the cruel reality. Most women today have mastered the art of appearing beneficial while being nothing but parasites in disguise. Yes, I said it. You can sugarcoat it if you want, but that won't stop your life from burning down around you when you choose wrong. This is not about hate. This is not about war. This is about strategy. Because Machiavelli, centuries ago, laid down the principle that still applies today. He who becomes a prince through the favor of the people must always keep them friendly. Replace the people with the woman in your life. And you understand? Keep the wrong one close. And you've already lost your kingdom. The Mask of Appearances. Machiavelli wrote that men are quick to judge what they see, but blind to what lies beneath. That is why appearances deceive, and why the wrong woman is so dangerous. She knows exactly what you want to see. She'll mirror it back to you. She plays sweet when she needs to, vulnerable when it benefits her, supportive when it earns her a seat at your table. But like Machiavelli warned, appearances are a mask, and reality lies hidden beneath. Destructive woman feeds off your empire while convincing you she is helping to build it. She plays the role of queen, but she's only there to raid the treasury. And here's the most ruthless part. When she's done, when the gold is gone, when your power is spent, she leaves, and in her leaving, she does not only take what you gave, she takes your reputation. She takes your time, she takes your will to fight against history's lessons. Do you think this is new? Do you think men only recently fell to ruin because of the wrong woman? No, history has written their names in blood. Samson, the strongest man alive, who could slay armies with his bare hands, was reduced to blindness and chains because he gave his heart to Delilah, not his enemies, not the Philistines. A woman, Mark Antony, a general who commanded legions, who ruled half of Rome, fell not in battle, but in Clytemne's arms. His empire crumbled, and Octavian wrote the future. While Antony's corpse lay rotting beside his queen Napoleon, a man who bent Europe to his will, who crowned himself emperor, was undone not just by war, but by his obsessive entanglement with Josephine, whose loyalties never matched his own. Pattern repeats, over and over, not fate, not bad luck, not tragedy, but choice. The wrong woman chosen society. S-Lie society will tell you that love conquers all, that loyalty is guaranteed, that partnership is the key to happiness, but society doesn't care about your survival. Society profits from your weakness. They sell you the wedding. They sell you the ring. They sell you the idea that happiness is found in giving up your freedom for security. And once you're chained, once you're drained, once you're a hollow shell of the man you could have been, they profit again from your misery. Divorce courts, lawyers, alimony, child support. You were not destroyed by fate. You were destroyed by a choice. The Machiavellian view. Machiavelli never romanticized the world. He stripped it bare and said, "It is better to be feared than loved." If you cannot be both, apply this truth to relationships, and you begin to see clearly love, without power, without strategy, without boundaries, is not love, it is slavery. The beneficial woman will respect the boundaries of a strong man. She will align her goals with yours because she knows her future thrives when your empire thrives. She doesn't drain you, she multiplies you. Destructive woman. She doesn't care about your empire. She doesn't care about legacy. She only cares about consumption. And if you do not learn to tell the difference, you will become another name whispered as a warning. A man who had everything and lost it all strategy for survivals? How do you survive? How do you separate the beneficial from the destructive before it's too late? Judge actions, not words. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Flip this on her. Don't listen to what she says. Watch what she does. Test loyalty under pressure. The wrong woman shines in comfort but collapses in crisis. The beneficial one stands firm when the storm comes. Value time over beauty. Beauty is cheap. Time reveals truth. A mask can be worn for months, even years, but not forever. Be patient enough to see what lies beneath. Protect your empire first. Never give away power, wealth, or influence until you are certain she builds rather than consumes. Remember, you are the kingdom without you. There is nothing to inherit except the harsh truth. Most are destructive. Few are beneficial. The odds are against you. That's why you must treat this as survival, not entertainment. The final warning. You think you're different. Every man does. You think you'll see it coming. Every man believes he'll be the exception. But history proves otherwise. Samson didn't see it. Antony didn't see it. Napoleon didn't see it. They were not weak men. They were not foolish men. They were men who made the wrong choice. And history does not pity the fool who chooses the wrong woman. So remember Machiavelli's law. Appearances deceive, strategy preserves, and survival belongs only to those who choose wisely. Because in the end, there are only two kinds of women, beneficial and destructive. And when you choose wrong, you won't just lose love, you'll lose everything. If you want to know who she really is, observe her reaction to your boundaries. Tell her no. Watch carefully. Does she respect it? Does she pause, accept, adjust? Or does she manipulate, cry, guilt, argue, twist reality until your no becomes a reluctant yes? That reaction will tell you everything you need to know, because the woman who cannot stand firm against a man's boundaries is not a partner. She is a parasite waiting to consume him. And once you allow that breach, once you surrender even at single wall of your fortress, she will storm the gates until nothing remains but ashes. Third commandment. Test her allegiance in conflict. Machiavelli wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." Translate that to your life. The first method for estimating a character of a woman is to watch how she behaves when things are not in her favor. A beneficial woman will stand with you when your kingdom is under fire. She will not run. She will not betray. She will not whisper against you when the odds are stacked. She sees your vision and invests herself in it because she knows her future is tied to yours. The destructive woman? She will vanish the moment your crown tilts. She will mock you in your weakness. She will align herself with your enemies. She will feed on your downfall. Like a vulture circling a dying lion. Men fail in modern relationships because they never test allegiance under pressure. They only measure loyalty when the sun is shining, when the table is full, when the victories are easy. But loyalty measured in comfort is worth nothing. Real loyalty is revealed in hardship. The fourth commandment. Never confuse beauty with virtue. Society will tell you beauty is enough, that her face, her body, her charm is all the proof you need. But Machiavelli warned, men are so simple and so much creatures of circumstance that the deceiver will always find someone ready to be deceived. Beauty without virtue is the sharpest deception she doesn't need. Wisdom, loyalty, or discipline if she has beauty, because men will give her everything without demanding anything back. And when you hand over power for beauty, you are not choosing a queen. You are enslaving yourself to a polished poison a strategic man sees beyond the surface. He studies her mind, her values, her actions. He understands that beauty fades, but patterns last forever. And if her patterns are toxic, then it doesn't matter if her face belongs to an angel, her presence will still drag you into hell. The fifth commandment: guard against emotional manipulation. Do not underestimate her weapon. It is not the sword. It is not the dagger. It is not the battlefield. Her weapon is emotion. Tears, silence, guilt, drama. These are the tools she wields against men who think with their hearts instead of their strategy. Machiavelli wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Remember this when she cries, when she swears loyalty, when she whispers forever. Her word in passion means nothing if her patterns contradict it in reality. The destructive woman thrives when you hand her control of your emotions. Once you allow her to dictate your reactions, she becomes your master and you become her servant. Why kings fall? Mark Antony did not lose Rome because of Caesar. He lost it because he forgot who held power in his own household. Samson did not lose his strength because of an army. He lost it because of Delilah's persistence. Men do not fall because of the sword. They fall because of the woman they allowed closest to the throne. This is why legacies die. This is why kingdoms collapse without battle. Because men hand over their crowns willingly, in the name of love, compromise, or desire. And by the time they realize what they've done, the enemy is already inside the gates. The sixth commandment: power is not negotiated. Understand this clearly. Power in a relationship is never something you negotiate. It is something you either hold or surrender. The weak man hands it over, wrapped in velvet words like compromise, understanding, and partnership. Noble words, beautiful lies. But Machiavelli stripped the illusion bare when he said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." What does this mean for you? It means if you must choose between being respected and being adored, choose respect every time. Because respect protects your authority, but love without respect is slavery with a smile. The man who allows a woman to rule him in the name of peace is no different from the puppet king wearing a crown made of tin while his kingdom rots behind closed doors. The test of boundaries: tell her no. Tell her she cannot cross the line. Tell her this is your vision, this is your mission, this is your law. Then watch, does she respect it? She is beneficial, does she rebel against it? She is destructive, it is that simple. But most men are too afraid to test it, because deep down, they already know the truth. They know she does not respect them, but they cling to the illusion anyway, because the fantasy feels better than the reality. That is why they fall, cut off her access to your time, your money, your attention, and then watch the silence that follows. Does she respect your distance? Or does she manipulate her way back in with tears, guilt, and promises she never intends to keep? Most women today have been raised in a weak society that teaches them men exist to serve their endless emotional appetites. And most men, desperate for peace, bow on their knees. But you, after this, you are not most men. Third commandment is this: watch how she handles boredom. Every woman behaves well when she's entertained, when the gifts keep coming, when the spotlight is on her. But boredom is the great revealer. Does she bring peace to silence, or does she spark chaos to feel alive again? Does she create harmony in quiet moments, or does she pick petty fights to remind herself she matters? A woman who cannot master her emotions in boredom will destroy you when real storms arrive. You need a woman who brings calm, not a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And then comes the greatest lie you've been told, that her past doesn't matter, that body count is irrelevant, that you're insecure if you care. Machiavelli would laugh in your face, he wrote. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Understand this. Her history is the only predictor of her future. A woman who betrayed before you is not starting fresh with you. She is sharpening her knife while you look away. Her past is not just her story. It is the blueprint of how she will treat you. Ignore it, and you'll watch your future collapse. The fourth commandment is this: never invest in a woman whose values you do not share. You are a man with a mission, or at least you should be. And a man with a mission does not build his empire with lust. He aligns himself with a woman whose loyalty strengthens his vision. If she mocks your discipline, if she scoffs at your ambition, if she's more loyal to her social media than to your legacy, leave. I don't care how good she looks in a dress. I don't care how sweetly she speaks when she wants something. Because here's the ruthless truth. The wrong woman will cost you your destiny, and no amount of temporary pleasure is worth the graveyard of your potential end. Now comes the commandment every man resists, but every man must obey. If she does not fear losing you, she will never truly value you. This is the coldest law of all. A woman who believes you'll always be there, no matter how far she disrespects you, no matter how little she gives back, will eventually despise you. Why? Because what costs nothing is worth nothing. Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. Men should be either caressed or crushed, and women will do the same to you. If she cannot lose you, she will crush you. If she fears losing you, she will rise to meet you. Men who are feared are not cruel. They are respected. Their absence means something. That is why you must stop being endlessly available. Stop rewarding disrespect with more attention. Stop begging for scraps when you should be commanding loyalty. The man who is willing to walk away is the man who holds the power. Always has, always will. But here's the truth that cuts deepest. It's easy to say these laws. It's far harder to live them. Because to live them, you must first kill the fool inside you. The romantic fool, the desperate fool, the boy who still believes that love alone can conquer a woman's nature. You were trained to believe sincerity would save you, that loyalty would change her, that devotion would make her stay. It won't. This is why men are broken today, not by women, but by their own illusions about women. Machiavelli was merciless with men who refused to face reality. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. And make no mistake, fear holds more power than love. Always has, always will. The woman you cannot walk away from is the woman who owns you. And she knows it. Watch how differently a woman treats the man she knows she could lose. Her tone softens her. Loyalty sharpens her. Chaos shrinks. But the man who makes himself endlessly available receives the opposite. She grows colder. She grows bolder. She tests him, not because she's evil, but because female nature does not trust what it does not respect. And a man who refuses to protect his value is not a man worth following. Let me make it crystal clear. The most dangerous woman in a man's life is the one he cannot walk away from. She may see you as someone she can cry to, someone she can vent to, someone who will absorb her fears. But ask yourself, does she follow your lead? Does she rise when you raise the standard? Does she submit to your guidance? If not, you're not her king. You're her emotional dumpster. She will use you until she finds a man she truly respects you. Think that's harsh? Good, let it sting, because that pain you feel right now is the alarm clock you've ignored for too long. Most men beg for respect. They try to earn it by doing more, bending further, shrinking. Smaller fools. Machiavelli warned. One who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. And you've deceived yourself. Respect is never negotiated, it is commanded. And if you must beg for it, you've already lost. So how do you command it? By living as if you're willing to lose her at any moment. because the man who fears loss becomes her servant, but the man who embraces loss becomes her obsession. She will test you. She will push. She will probe to see if you're just bark, no bite. And when that moment comes, you must bite, you must walk, you must disappear, not to punish her, but to remind her that you value yourself more than you fear her absence now. Here's the most overlooked test of all. Watch how she relates to men, not just exes or friends, but men in general. Does she admire masculine strength or mock it? Does she honor her father, her brothers, her mentors? Or does she drip with bitterness toward every man who came before you? Because here is the truth. A woman who despises men will never fully submit to one. She may act sweet in the beginning, but resentment always surfaces. And when it does, you'll find yourself sleeping beside a rival, not a partner. Machiavelli wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." Her words mean nothing if her patterns don't match. Do not marry potential. Do not invest in promises. Invest in patterns. If her life before you is chaos, she will not magically become peace beside you. If she was lazy before you, she will not suddenly become disciplined with you. You are not the exception. Ignore this, and you are simply the next fool in line. Why do men ignore the signs? Because deep down, you want to believe you're special. You think your patience, your love, your sacrifice will change her. It won't. You are not her father. You are not her therapist. You are not her God. You are a man, and a man's time is his life. Every minute you waste trying to reform a woman who refuses to change is a minute stolen from your future. Machiavelli said it best. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Every second you delay cutting ties with the wrong woman, you live as the fool. And here's the truth no one will tell you. No woman on earth is your purpose, not one. Your purpose is your mission, your discipline, your kingdom. A woman is either an asset to that mission or a liability. Most men flip this equation. They make the woman their purpose, the center of their life, their reason to wake up in the morning, and the moment she senses this, she loses respect, because women do not trust men who orbit them. They trust men who orbit nothing but their mission. That's why the same woman who disrespects one man will worship another. The difference isn't her, it's his frame. So here's the brutal lesson. Never choose a woman who cannot thrive in your absence. If you want to know who she truly is, step back, watch her without you. Does she collapse into chaos, or does she rise in order and discipline? The woman who requires constant validation, constant attention, constant babysitting, that woman will drain you. But the woman who multiplies in your absence, who guards the mission when you're not watching, who honors your frame even when you're gone, that is the only woman worth keeping. Machiavelli warned, it is better to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both in relationships, that truth means one thing: be willing to make her uncomfortable in defense of your standards. If she crosses a boundary, you confront it immediately. If she disrespects your time, you remove it. If she tests your strength, you show her the door, not because you are cruel, but because you are a man who guards the empire he is building. Bend once, and you will bend forever. And she will know this. Here's the next law. Choose a woman who strengthens your discipline, not weakens. Idle woman who encourages laziness, who tempts you to skip the grind, who laughs when you say no to distraction. She is setting you up to fail. She may smile while doing it. She may even call it love, but in reality, it's treason. A real woman, an asset, becomes your ally in discipline. She sharpens you. She challenges you to rise higher. She holds you accountable to your word. She doesn't beg you to soften. She dares you to stay sharpened. To the man already trapped, listening now and thinking, but I've already chosen wrong, hear this: it's not too late. But freedom comes with a price. You will lose pride. You will lose time. You may lose money, but ask yourself, what costs more? Leaving now or dying slowly for the next 20 years. Because the wrong woman will drain you until nothing remains. And when you are empty, she will leave anyway. Nature has no sympathy for the man who refuses to lead himself, Machiavelli knew. People respect only what they fear losing. If she doesn't fear losing you, it's because you already taught her you have no spine. But that ends today. You are not here to be a supporting role in her story. You are here to be a kingdom builder, and your kingdom will either be fortified or destroyed by the woman you permit. Inside it, the tragedy of modern men is not weakness. It's the illusion that weakness is compassion, that letting everything slide is tolerance, that enduring disrespect is love. But Machiavelli cut through this delusion with one truth. A prince who is not himself wise cannot be wisely advised. What does this mean? If you are weak, you will only attract voices that feed that weakness. That's why men with no standards always end up with the most chaotic women. You thought you were unlucky. You thought you kept finding the wrong ones. Wrong, you allowed them in you. Kept them, you chose them. Because your weakness called to their chaos, the way fire calls to moths. And now you're here, listening because you're starting to wake up. So let me cut deep. You are exactly where you deserve to be. Whatever woman is in your life, blessing or curse, you selected her. Maybe carelessly, maybe desperately, maybe out of boredom, but you chose. And until you face that brutal truth like a man, you'll repeat the cycle, blaming women, blaming society, blaming luck. Enough. Take ownership, because Machiavelli's lessons only work for men who have stopped playing victim here. That's what most men do. They sit and wait for the perfect woman to appear. They do nothing to build their own value. They do nothing to sharpen their judgment. They float through life waiting to feel when it's right, but feelings are liars. And women are masters at triggering the feelings you crave. Validation, comfort, intimacy. So remember this final law. Men judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can understand. You have eyes, but do you have insight? Can you sit across from a beautiful woman and see through the act? Can you walk away when your body screams to stay? Because real men choose with wisdom, not hunger with strategy, not lust with vision, not addiction. And here is the ultimate commandment. Test her loyalty in your absence before you trust her in your presence. Any woman can act right when you're watching. The true test is who she becomes when you're not. Does she keep your name clean when you're absent? Does she reject the attention of other men without needing your correction? Does she live by your standards even when there's no reward for doing so? Or does she drift the moment your back is turned? She is either your greatest investment or your most costly mistake. And Machiavelli would remind you, great leaders are not destroyed by armies. They are destroyed by poor alliances. A weak ally inside your walls is deadlier than 10 enemies outside your gates. So remember this, every relationship is an alliance. Every woman you let close to you is either reinforcing your empire or quietly sabotaging it. The price of blindness is ruin. The reward of wisdom is dominion. The test of true value. You want to know if she is beneficial or destructive. Don't look at her words, look at her patterns. A destructive woman will always demand more than she gives. She thrives when you are distracted, when you are off balance, when you are weakened. She'll pull you into endless arguments, petty drama, emotional blackmail, and before you know it, your energy is gone, your focus is shattered, your mission is buried under her chaos. A beneficial woman? She respects your mission before she ever asks you to respect her feelings. She protects your time. She adds peace to your life instead of noise. She multiplies your efforts instead of draining them. She doesn't compete with your vision. She contributes to it. And when you leave the room, you're not worried about betrayal. You're confident in loyalty. That is the test. Machiavelli's cold reminder. Machiavelli never sugar-coated human nature, and neither should you. He said, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Men destroy themselves by assuming loyalty is automatic, that love guarantees devotion, but history proves otherwise. Kingdoms fell, empires crumbled, dynasties were erased, not because of war, not because of famine, but because the wrong woman sat beside the throne. Look at Samson destroyed by Delilah. Look at Antony ruined by Cleopatra. Look at kings, generals, even prophets, men of strength, undone by the woman they chose wrong. Do not think you are immune. The ruthless choice: you are not called to be nice. You are called to be wise. Stop apologizing for drawing the line. Stop feeling guilty for expecting. Loyalty. Stop lowering your standards out of fear of being alone. Because Machiavelli was right. The masses will mock you. They will call you cold, harsh, arrogant. But better to be feared for your discipline than pitied for your weakness. So here is the truth, brother. The wrong woman costs you your purpose. The wrong woman costs you your legacy. The wrong woman costs you everything but the right one. She makes you unstoppable, and that is the choice you face every day. And hear me now. This is the last time life will whisper before it screams. Because every wrong choice, every wasted year, every broken man you've seen wandering through life, empty-eyed and bitter, once stood exactly where you are right now. They thought they had time. They thought compromise wasn't fatal. They thought one more chance, one more excuse, one more night of silence wouldn't matter. It mattered. It cost them everything. The truth is this: life is not patient. Destiny does not wait. Every day you keep the wrong woman in your life is a day your empire shrinks. A day your fire burns lower. A day your purpose dies a little more. And the graveyard of men is filled not with soldiers who fell in war, but with kings who surrendered at home. So what will you be? Another nameless casualty? Or the exception, the man who looked truth in the eye and refused to flinch? Remember this law and never forget it. What you tolerate will destroy you. Stand up. Choose with clarity. Guard your throne like your life depends on it, because it does. And if that makes you hard, if that makes you cold, then so be it. Better to be cold and crowned than warm and ruined. This is your last warning, not tomorrow, not someday. Right now, decide the last warning to menu. Think you have time. That's the biggest lie men tell themselves. I'll fix it later. I'll figure it out after this. I'll set boundaries once things calm down. But later never comes. Later is the language of men who die with regrets carved into their bones. Later is the lullaby of weak men. Later is the reason your grandfather looked back on his life and wished he had fought harder, chosen differently, spoken sooner the truth. You don't have time. You don't even know how much you've already lost. Look at your kingdom, the little empire you've built. Maybe it's not gold and stone. Maybe it's your business, your health, your mind, your mission, whatever it is. Understand this. The wrong woman is already draining it. Every fight you shouldn't be in, every distraction you let slide, every manipulation you tolerate. It's the termites eating through your throne while you pretend the wood is still strong. Do you think history remembers the excuses of kings? Do you think the Roman generals who fell to poison whispered by their lovers are excused because she was complicated? No, history records their downfall, not their excuses. And you, if you don't wake up, will be remembered the same way. The law of alignment. A woman is not just a presence in your life. She is either a fortress or a fissure. She is either stone in your foundation or cracks in your walls. There is no neutral. There is no she's just there. That's the lie you want to believe so you can justify mediocrity. But here's the law. If she is not aligned, she is against you, not always in open war. Sometimes in whispers, sometimes in demands that look small but cost you big. Sometimes in silences that rot the core of your spirit. The wrong woman will not stab you in the chest. She'll cut you slowly, quietly, smiling while she does it, until you wake up years later, wondering where your strength went. Where your fire went, where you went, history's brutal lesson. Samson, strongest man alive, didn't fall to an army. He fell to Delilah. Mark Antony, one of Rome's greatest, didn't fall to Caesar. He fell to Cleopatra. Kings across dynasties, emperors, across centuries, they weren't destroyed by swords, but by the women they chose. This is not myth, this is reality. And you are not so different you think, because it's 2025. The rules changed, they didn't. The battlefield just moved from castles to apartments, from thrones to relationships, from crowns to paychecks. The weapon isn't always poison anymore. Sometimes it's shame, sometimes it's guilt, sometimes it's her tears designed to disarm your logic. And just like those kings, you will fall, not because you weren't strong, but because you weren't ruthless with your standards. The man who refuses. But there is another kind of man, a rare kind, the man who refuses. He is not cruel, but he is clear. He is not bitter, but he is sharp. He is not desperate, but he is dangerous, because he can walk away. This man does not choose out of loneliness. He does not settle out of fear. He does not lower his crown to beg for companionship. This man tests, this man waits, this man demands, not because he thinks he's perfect, but because he knows his mission is too important to gamble on chaos. Disguised as love, you know why most men lose? Because they fear solitude more than they fear slavery. But the wise man knows solitude builds empires, while slavery to the wrong woman burns them down. The law of standards. A man without standards is a man already conquered. You think you're leading, but if you tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, manipulation, you're not a king. You're a clown wearing a crown made of paper, and she knows it. Women test men not because they're evil, but because nature demands it. If you fail the test, if you bend, if you compromise what you once called your line in the sand, you teach her one thing, that your words mean nothing, that your boundaries are for sale, that your strength is a mask you wear until pressure exposes the hollow beneath. Once she sees it, once she knows, you will never get that respect back. You think Caesar could have begged the Senate into fearing him? Do you think Alexander could have asked nicely for loyalty? No, they enforced it with clarity, with decisiveness. With fire, you must do the same. The slow poison, the wrong woman, doesn't destroy you in a day. That would be merciful. No, she takes years from you. She steals them drip by drip, like poison poured into your wine. One day, it's a small request, harmless. The next, it's a demand. The next, it's shame for not meeting her expectations. Then it's resentment, and it's control. And before you know it, you are no longer building your empire. You are managing her storms. You wake up one day and realize the man you once wanted to be has been buried under arguments, compromises, and distractions. Your fire has gone cold while you spent years keeping her warm. That is the slow poison. That is how kings rot from within their own palaces. The law of solitude. Men fear being alone. That fear is their chain. But here is the truth. Solitude is not weakness. Solitude is the forge. Alone is where you sharpen your sword. Alone is where you build your walls. Alone is where you become unbreakable. Man who cannot walk alone will always crawl beside the wrong woman. He will accept anything, endure anything, swallow anything just to avoid silence. But silence is power. In silence, you hear your own thoughts. In silence, you learn discipline. In silence, you remember that you are complete, that no woman, no person, no outside force gives you worth. You no longer fear solitude. You are free. And when you are free, you cannot be trapped. The test of fire. Do not misunderstand me. This is not hatred of women. This is not bitterness. This is clarity. A woman can be your greatest ally. She can be your fortress, your fire, your second heartbeat, but she must be tested. By fire, too many men hand over loyalty, time, resources without ever testing, without ever observing, without ever questioning. Does she add or does she subtract? Does she multiply, or does she divide? Test her. See how she reacts when you stand firm. See how she acts when you demand excellence. See how she responds when you prioritize your mission over her mood. The right woman will sharpen you. The wrong woman will soften you. The right woman will stand beside you in war. The wrong woman will start the war inside your own gates, legacy, or ashes. Every man must decide, do you want legacy or do you want ashes? Legacy demands standards. Legacy demands sacrifice. Legacy demands you choose carefully who shares your table, your bed. Your bloodline ashes are easy. Ashes are what you get when you hand your crown to the wrong hands. Ashes are what remain when you let your fire burn for everyone but yourself. History is a graveyard of men who chose wrong. You will join them if you don't awaken the illusion of choice. Most men today think they are choosing freely. Their choice has already been engineered by the culture, by the music, by the movies, by the endless propaganda that tells them, she is the prize, you are the pursuer. Your worth is measured by her approval. You think you're making a choice. In truth, you've been programmed. Your standards are not your own. They were fed to you by a society that profits from your weakness. Look at the stories told to boys. The prince must slay the dragon for her. The soldier must die for her. The fool must sacrifice everything for her. And what does she sacrifice? Nothing. This is not equality. This is not partnership. This is the illusion of choice, an illusion that ensures you walk willingly into your own defeat. Machiavelli's whisper, remember this. Machiavelli never said to hate people. He said to understand them, to see them as they are, not as you wish they were. Most men see a woman and project a fantasy onto her. They see beauty and imagine virtue. They see charm and imagine loyalty. They see desire and imagine love. But Machiavelli whispers, men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. Penetration, the ability to see beneath the mask. That is your weapon. That is how you separate the beneficial from the destructive. That is how you survive. The queen or the saboteur understand this. A woman in your life will play one of two roles. Queen or saboteur. The queen will multiply your strength. She will guard your peace. She will see your mission and align herself to it. With her, you will expand. You will conquer. You will rise. The saboteur will drain you. She will mock your dreams, distract your focus, and poison your vision. With her, you will shrink. You will doubt. You will fall. The tragedy is that many men confuse the saboteur for the queen. Why? Because the saboteur wears the queen's mask until it's too late. The law of detachment. Attachment is a drug. The wrong woman is the dealer. The more you crave her attention, the more power she has. The more you fear losing her, the weaker you become. And once you are hooked, you are no longer a king. You are a slave waiting for your next hit. Detach from her validation. Detach from her approval. Detach from the belief that your life only has meaning with her in it. When you detach, you see clearly. When you detach, you make decisions not from fear, but from strength. Detachment is freedom, and freedom is the only condition from which you can truly choose wisely. History's graveyard. Look at history, and you will see the same story repeated over and over. Samson had his Delilah. Mark Antony had his Cleopatra. Napoleon had his Josephine. Kings, warriors, emperors brought to ruin not by armies, but by the wrong woman, and every one of them thought they were the exception. They thought they could tame her. They thought they could handle her. They thought they could rewrite the law. But history does not pity fools. It buries them. The mirror test. Here's a question most men never ask. Why do I attract destructive women? The answer is brutal. Because you are unworthy of anything else. The destructive woman feeds on weakness. If she keeps appearing in your life, it's because there's weakness in you to feed on. Your lack of discipline, your lack of clarity, your Lack of standards, the beneficial woman, will never align with you unless you rise, unless you build yourself into a fortress, unless you become a man worth multiplying. So, before you point the finger outward, stand before the mirror, ask, am I a king? Or am I still a jester hoping for a queen to crown me? The final law: there are only two outcomes. You build your empire with the right woman at your side, or you let the wrong woman burn it to the ground. No middle ground, no excuses, no pity. So choose. Wisely guard your gates, test with fire, stand firm in standards, embrace solitude until you find the one who sharpens, not softens. Your blade for history remembers kings who rose. It forgets the men who fell for illusions. And if you do not learn this truth now, you will learn it later, standing over the grave of your own potential, whispering the words every ruined man has whispered before you. I should have chosen better.